I'm a small farmer, as you gather from my accent.
I can't tell how tall you are by your accent.
Well, there you go.
Carry on.
Look, I'm stockpiling diesel. I'm planting up root vegetables. I'm increasing the amount of beef and lamb that I keep because I can see quite clearly where this is going to lead. Because hard Brexit not only results in queues of lorries as far as the eye can see, but it also results in 80% of farm businesses becoming no longer viable.
Why is that?
Because they lose their EU subsidies, and if you look at say Scotland and Wales, more than 50% of all farm incomes comes from subsidies. They also lose their home market because obviously with the very first deal they'll do is with the USA with much cheaper, much lower grade, lower animal welfare provision. They also lose their export markets in Europe for lamb and beef. So not only will we be stockpiling food, but we were watching farmers go out of business at a huge rate of knots.
Now, I think, oddly, that the economist, the only economist really that Jacob Rees-Mogg refers to when he makes his ludicrous unicornist claims, agrees with you, doesn't he? Hasn't Patrick Minford said that we will see the collapse of British industry and British agriculture, but the benefits accrued by being able to import chlorinated chicken and such like will make up for it. So people like you just have to suck it up for the greater good. I'm pretty sure, I hope I've not misrepresented him, but the only...
No. Patrick Minford said in evidence to a committee that just like, quote, coal and steel, yes, unquote, manufacturing and farming would no longer make sense and would cease to operate. He was absolutely...
Hang on, no, just stop for a minute and let me bask in the brilliance of my listeners and callers, Richard, because I genuinely, that was pretty special what you did then. I was trying to drag it up.
James, it gets better if you give me a little bit more.
Fill your boots, fill your wellies.
But the thing is, mate, that you're too nice. You don't really understand what this is all about.
Yeah.
Have you read your Hayek? Have you read The Road to Serfdom? Have you read your Mies? The state has to be smashed, taxation has to end, borders have to come down, the welfare state has to be abolished, and people have to live under the only one true faith, money, the only supernatural force that exists, which is the market. And that is what hard Brexit is about. That's what the Brexit is.
But you're very kind to say I'm too nice. I do recognise that the only ideological explanation for what they're doing is what you describe, and I do think that is what people like Minford and Jacob Rees-Mogg want, even though obviously, they pretend to be anti-elites and encourage their cap-doffing, forelock-tugging hordes to march themselves over a cliff. And not everybody who is... Actually, I wonder if everyone who is pro-hard Brexit, an awful lot of people who are being persuaded that they are pro-hard Brexit haven't got a Scooby-Doo what they're being persuaded to do. We can agree on that. And that's why I'm nice. Because you're not going to tempt them back out of the darkness by calling them idiots. You can only tempt them back out of the darkness by showing them the evil that's been done to them by newspaper editors who told them to vote for it and today are telling them that we're going to be stockpiling food.
Well, absolutely, but you must understand, when you hear politicians in the Conservative Party talking about someone who, quote, believes in Brexit...
Believes.
Yeah, believe. This is faith in the supernatural nature of the free market. It is, it's like the Moonies. That's what you have to think of. It's the Moonies. But behind them, there are the really, really dark people. There are the people who see that the EU is moving against tax havens. There are the people in the American neoliberal far right who funded the effective emasculation of every economics department in the Western world that now believes in neoclassical economics, which, although it's completely failed to predict what's going to happen in the past with all the rest of it, I think the one thing I'd like to end on, unless you want to talk more to me, is Boris Johnson is telling you the truth. When he says, quote, meltdown, unquote, that's what he means. They want to let loose chaos capitalism in this country. They want to see the sort of evisceration that has taken place in other countries when liberal democracy has been destroyed. And if you doubt the commitment of the EU to maintain the four pillars, you only have to go to a Greek island and see what the European Central Bank did to the Greek people. They had no medicine, they had no food, they had no energy. What makes people think that won't happen here is there's a hard Brexit.
Richard, I have to point out at this point that nothing says metropolitan liberal elite like being a farmer in Devon.
Thank you kindly.
Thank
And what
you.
are you doing on my
Oh, man alive, you have to laugh. Am I too nice? That could be our topic for 11 o'clock.